This is all about how to come to Canada as a registered nurse or as a nurse. What are the ways to come to Canada as a nurse and become and work in Canada as a nurse and immigrate as a nurse? Okay, so for those people who are joining us in our Zoom, welcome. If you have any questions, please go ahead and type them out in our chat box. For those people joining us in our Facebook Live, please don't hesitate to like and share this live stream to your friends and families. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to add those questions on the comment section, and I'll take a look at them from time to time and answer them as well. And this would be a great opportunity for you guys to ask questions with regards to immigrating to Canada, or questions about how to immigrate to Canada, because I can answer them right away, or at least within the within the webinar session, right? So again, welcome everyone. So once again, my name is Israel Roman. I am a licensed Canadian immigration consultant and at the same time an active registered nurse here in Canada. I came to Canada in 2008 as a nurse and has been working as a frontline nurse or as a nurse since then here in Nanaimo, British Columbia. And at the same time, unlicensed Canadian immigration to help you guys out. Our offices, we have our main office here in Nanaimo, BC, and we have our Philippine office located in Lipa City, Batangas. So, nursing permit, study permit, or nursing pathway. Okay, so this is the easiest, this is the way for a registered nurse to come to Canada. It is through a study permit. And then once you are here, or let me backtrack. There's a lot of questions on for from nurses asking, how can I come to Canada as a nurse and work as a nurse? So the answer to that one is, directly to come to Canada as a nurse and work is impossible, right? There's a lot of things that an RN needs to do in order to come to Canada and end up working as an RN and eventually immigrate as an RN. So to directly come to Canada and work as an RN, there's no pathway for that one. Even with the Express Entry program, you will, as a professional nurse that needs to have a license before being able to work, the Express Entry is not a direct pathway for nurses, unfortunately. Even though Canada needs a lot of nurses for sure, there is no pathway for nurses to come to Canada and directly work right away. Okay, so as of today, there is no such pathway. So the pathway that I am going to present to you is the pathway that we think is the fastest and easiest way for an RN to come to Canada and work eventually as an RN. Okay, so our credentials, if you are already working with someone that is giving you advice on how to immigrate to Canada, how to come to Canada as a worker, or come to Canada as a tourist, or to visit, If that person is not your relative, that person needs to be licensed with Immigration Consultant of Canada Regulatory Council, or the ICCRC, before they can give you advice, whether it is a free advice or a paid advice, right? So they have to go through education and then licensing, licensure exam, and then be registered with ICCRC. If you have any complaints with regards to that with regards to that consultant, you go to ICCRC and file that complaint, and that one will be dealt with. If that person is not licensed with ICCRC, then they won't be able to do anything about it. So how would you check if the person is really an active member or has active license with ICCRC? So we go to click on we go to the ICCRC website, and we scroll down below and then click on learn more. And then on the public register, you type in the last name of the consultant that you are working with. So right now, let's type in my name. So last name is Roman, first name is Israel. Hit search, and it should show the name of the consultant that you are working with. So right now it's Roman Israel. The status is active, and that is my consultant's number and contact information. You can go ahead and click that. When you click that, it would show you where that consultant is based out of from. So the name will BC Canada, and the company that I work for is Rowan and Associates Immigration Services Limited. Okay. So now you know, or now you have a way of finding out if the person that you are working with, giving you advice, is legally able to really give you immigration advice. Now, how would you be able to determine now if the company really exists? So in Canada, you can go to, if the company is registered in Canada, you can go to Canada Business. Hold on. Sorry. You can go to Canada Business Registry and type in the name of the company. So Roman and Associates. And there you go. It would show if the company exists, which is Roman and Associate does exist, it would show in here. So Roman and Associates Immigration Services Limited, and it's an active company. So this is a corporation. Okay. And so those are the two ways, right? So I mean, like maybe the consultant that you're working with has a company outside of Canada, then you have to kind of like do your research on that one, on how to really see if that company really exists and it's not an overnight company, right? And I did say that I am a practicing RN in Canada, and I think this one holds value because now I know what I'm talking about when it comes to becoming an RN here in Canada. Okay, because I myself came from the Philippines, and as an RN, right? So I was working as an RN back home in the Philippines and came to Canada 2008 as an RN, directly as an RN as well. Okay, so Why am I having shit? There you go. All right. So also, so you can use Google to search for the person who you're working, who's working with you with your immigration, just to see if there's any red flag, right? If there's any feedback, yeah, any red flag that you can see in Google that has been logged in, right? So when I typed in Israel Roman Nanaimo, it shows on the right hand side the company that I work for. And so this is listed by Google, so it's verified. So and it says here the address, which is in Nanaimo, and it says closed. And the reason why this company is closed at the moment is because it's only 5:15 a.m. here. So we are closed at the moment, but still able to do this live stream. So on the left hand side, try to search for any reliable, any credible link that would kind of like help you decide if this person is really legit or there's something fishy going on, right? So right here where it says NanaiMoBulletin.com, so not Nanaimo Hospital Auxiliary Donation tops 300,000, and it says Israel Roman NRGH Intensive Care Unit Telemetry Medicine Floor Heart Health Manager. So there you go. So that indicates that I am here in Nanaimo. And let's go ahead and take some look at some pictures on who Israel Roman is as per Google. And let me open my webcam. All right. Okay, let's fix that one. Okay. So this is the picture from the website. So it says the Nanaimo Hospital Auxiliary Donation tops 300,000. And this is from the Nanaimo News Bulletin. So you can go ahead and see that that's me giving a short thank you speech to the Nanaimo Auxiliary. Okay. Another one right here. So BC local news, the Nanaimo Hospital gets 340 this time this is from BC local news. Okay, so that's me right there receiving a big check right there. Perfect. All right, maybe let's go click one more. Okay, so this one right here is from again the Nanaimo Hospital Foundation. So it's Nanaimo, and that's me right there giving a tour to one of our visitor in our hospital. So, all right. So now you have the tools to check for for if you're already working with someone right now. It would be and you haven't done a great good research on that person, then this is ways of doing it, right? So how to become a registered nurse? Okay. So option one, this is a not straightforward, not so easy version. Okay. So first is you have to take the IELTS. And this would be the academic IELTS. Okay. Once you have done your IELTS, you need to have your credentials checked with the National Nursing Assessment Service. So they would be determining they'll be comparing your nursing education to the Canadian nursing education. See if there's any difference. see if there's any gaps. And you have to take the IELTS again. Now, the reason why you have to take the IELTS again, possibly, is because maybe by that when you took your first IELTS and done the NNAS and got the result, it has been 2 years. So if 2 years has gone by, then you'll have to take the IELTS again. Once you have taken once you have an active IELTS again, then you will now take your competency exam, or the Nursing Competency Assessment Service. And this is an exam which is, there's basically two parts. B and C are together. So A would be your computer-based assessment. So it is a question and answer right on the computer, while B and C would be a simulated lab and oral assessment. So you can think of this one, the B and C, as if you go back to your college years, wherein you have your theory, and then at the end of the week, you'll have a return demonstration on the theory. So an example would be, let's say, head to toe assessment. Okay, so you had your theory. Now you'll be in a lab with proctors, with panel, and you'll be doing your head to toe assessment. And of course, you'll have to enumerate what you are doing, what are the steps by step. Okay, and of course there will be some follow-up questions. Okay. Then once you have completed both the NNAS and NCAS, now the College of Nurses, that would be similar to PRC, or the Professional Regulatory Commission in the Philippines, the College of Nurses would now look at, okay, based on your NNAS and NCAS result, what are the courses that you will need to take, or what are the gaps that you have? And with those gaps, what are the courses that you'll need to take? This one could be one course in a span of 6 months. It could be two courses. It could be a year course, or even some could be you'll have to take the entire course again. And this transitional coursework can only be taken in Canada. So if you're getting a license here in BC, you can only take it in Kwantlen Polytechnic or Thompson's River University. Why did I say this is not so easy version? This is a not so easy version because one, the simulated lab assessment, the NCAS, that one needs to be taken here in Canada. Okay, so that means it's a 2-day exam. So that means you have to apply for your visa. It would be a tourist visa for sure, and come here, and of course you need to book your hotel and everything, and then take the exam. Once you have finished the exam, then you go back home. Once you have the result, then you come to Canada again, but this time you'll have to apply for a study permit, because now you'll be doing some coursework, right? Once you're done, then you might have to go back to, you might need to go back while you're waiting for the result of your the the confirmation from the college saying that yes, now you're now able to take the NCLEX exam, which is the board exam here in Canada. So it's not a direct pathway. It's not so easy, but it's doable though, right? as long as you are able to get the tourist visa and then the study visa later on, then yes, right? And of course, it would uh, it would uh, it would need a lot of money for this one because you'll be going back and forth as well, right? So, and then once you have been authorized or have been given the go ahead signal to take the board exam, then you can go ahead and start searching for a full time employment. So, option two is the study permit. So, since option one, you still need to study, why not just come here and directly study and yeah, rather than going back and forth, right? So this would be the fast and easy pathway to Canada as a nurse. So one, the first step would be is to apply for that study permit, and you will be studying the 12 to 18, either the 12 or 18-month nursing review course. Okay. Once you have completed that course, then you will apply for a work permit as an RN. Okay. While you are studying, you will be getting your interim license as an RN while you are studying. So now once you have completed your course, you will now be able to apply for your work permit as an RN. Then after working for a year as an RN, you can now apply for your permanent residency. And this one would be under the Express Entry program, either the Canadian Experience class or the Skilled Worker. So, what would be the eligibility requirement for study permit, right? How would you be approved, or what are the things the immigration officer will be looking at in order for him to decide if you should have a study permit? One is that you need to be enrolled in a designated learning institution or what we call DLI. And of course, the school that you will be entering is definitely a DLI. Prove that you have enough money to pay for your tuition fee. Okay, so tuition fee for the entire course, for this one, for the entire course, right? And then living expense for yourself and family members who will come with you to Canada. Yes, your family members, which is your spouse and children, they are able to come with you while you are studying. But of course, you'll need to be able to show that you have enough money to support yourself while studying and at the same time to support your spouse and your children and be admissible to Canada. When we say admissible to Canada, that means you don't have any criminal record and in good health. Okay, so what is the minimum requirement? So this one would be for the school, right? So admission requirement for the school. You need to be a registered nurse in the country of origin or registered nurse in the country of your residence, right? You need to have at least 1125 hours of RN experience in the last 4 years. So this is if you are working full time, then you have covered this one for sure. Full time in a year, you'll have covered this one because full time in a year would be roughly 1900 hours. And the academic score for IELTS needed for this one would be 6.0 for the 18-month course. and then 6.5 for the 12-month course. Yeah, so there are two options. Either you go to the 12-month course or the 18-month course. So if your IELTS academic score is 6.5, then you'll be given a comprehensive nursing assessment by the school. And if you pass that one as well, then you'll be eligible for the 12-month course, which is this would be good because now you'll finish your course 6 months earlier and you'll be an RN 6 months earlier. And the tuition fee would be, of course, less expensive than the 18-month course. So what is the course that you will be taking up? So it would be the Canadian Nursing Review, and this one will help you as a foreign national, foreign nurse, be able to successfully transition and be a successful RN in Canada, right? And I can tell you that there's a big difference between working as an RN in the Philippines and working here as an RN in Canada. There is a big difference. And the Canadian Nursing Review would be there to help you prepare all the skills that is needed in order to be successful here in Canada as a nurse. So the course is made up of 6 components. So you have your medical terminology, you have your English, Canadian Nursing Review. So this would include your clinical experience, I mean, and then final clinical competency review. This would be for your NCLEX, or it's so review for the upcoming board exam. And you have your co-op education, work experience, and leadership in nursing. So if you're taking the 12-month course, then you won't have the English, the second bullet. You won't have that one. You'll skip that. And the co-op education or co-op education work experience, this is simply your practicum. So if you go back again to your college years wherein you have practicum in, let's say, a medical ward or surgical ward, maternity, OR, psych. So you'll have that one as well as part of your course. The big difference is that when you are doing your co-op education, you now have an interim license to practice as an RN. So you are practically working as an RN. And the good thing about this one is you're getting paid now as an RN. So you are still in school doing your practicum, but your practicum is being paid for by the hospital that you're doing your practicum with, right? So even though you that is still part of your school education, right? School coursework. So that is good because that would help you in terms of your uh, finance, right? So benefits of this program. One, it is an easy criteria because almost every RN can join this program because you just need, not just, but you need to be an RN. You need to have 1125 hours in the last 4 years, right? So if you're working full time in a year, that's already you already covered that one. That's 1950 almost 1900 in a year. So that's easy. And another benefit on being on a study permit is that a study permit holder allows you are able to work while having your study permit, while on your study permit. So during school season, you're able to work 20 hours per week of school season, 40 hours per week. Now, when it comes to working student, your wage would be at least the minimum wage. So since this is in BC, so your wage would be at least $14.60 because that is the BC minimum wage, right? It doesn't mean that because you are a working student, your wage will be lower. No, your wage as a working student would be at least the minimum wage. And again, as a college student, as a study permit holder, you are able to bring your spouse and children. Once you've finished your course, you will now be you don't need to leave Canada. You will stay here and transition from a student to a worker, from a student to a work permit. Then your work permit would now lead you to your permanent residency. Okay. So with I'm pretty you'll say that pretty sure there are some expenses attached to this one. And with all those expenses, how much am I really going to earn as an RN? Right? Is it worth it to come to Canada and be an RN in terms of the wage? Okay. So this is right here. This is the wage grid for all of the nurses that works in British Columbia. Okay. So the level 1 and level 2 are LPN, so you won't fall under that one. First, you will fall under the level 3 right here, and you will be first year. So during your co-op practicum, this is the wage that you will be getting, $34.83. After your course, now you have applied for an actual, then you will be informing the hospital that you're working for that, hey, I've been working in the Philippines as an RN for 5 years, and you'll have to just show your employment certificate from the Philippines, and then your manager would have to approve that one. Then, even though you haven't worked for 5 years here in Canada, your wage now would can be either 38.84 or 40.19. So you'll be placed under either your fourth year or fifth year. So every year, your wage will go up. The maximum would be 9 years, 45.73. So if you've been working as an RN here for 15 years, you'll be in grade 9. Okay. And what happens after 2022? This wage right here will all be changed and it will just go up, right? Level 4, 5, and 6 would be supervisory role. So you can think of that one as your head nurses, and there's one more above a head nurse. So, and another one above that one. So that's the level 6. Okay. There's a question. Hello, Anne. So, do you have a passing percentage for those students who took the Canadian Nursing Review class? Yes, that is a very great question. So, all of the students who graduated and have taken that Canadian Nursing Review and taken the NCLEX, their passing rate at the moment is 100%. So, the nursing review course really does help the student get a passing mark, not just a passing mark, but do great in the NCLEX? So that's a great question. Thank you. Moving on. So now you've seen the wage. Okay, let's get some sample computation on this one. So 34.83 an hour times 40 hours per week, that would give you 1,537 per week. Okay. And in a month, that would give you 6,000. And in a year, that would give you almost close to 80,000, 79,934 to be exact. Okay. And this is only at 34.83 is your first year, right? This is the first grid. I'm pretty sure when you after your course, I'm pretty sure you won't be ending up on the first year. You'll end up at least second year, right? So 79,000. How much is that one in Philippine peso? So if we convert that one in Philippine peso, that would give you 2.7 million pesos working as an RN on your first year. And this is again, this is only the first grid, right? We haven't looked, this is not, you still have 8 more grids to go. So I'm not sure now how much the wages in the Philippines for nurses, but I'm seeing a lot of postings with regards to salary in the Philippines for nurses to bring it up. But I'm not sure exactly right now how much is the wage, but I'm assuming, optimistic, that 2.7 will be higher than what you'll be able to get in the Philippines as an RN. Okay. And maybe I can tell you then, since I'm an RN here, our patient load here is that in a medical ward, our patient load is the most would be 5 patients, right? We might have 6 or 7. That is if we are over capacity, but that's pushing it, right? So we have if we have hallway patients, if we have over capacity, then the charge nurse or the head nurse for that unit will be asking for extra help to bring in one more nurse on the unit to help us out, right? So in a telemetry unit, we have 4 patients. In ICU, we have 1. In our high acuity unit, we'll have 2 patients per nurse. In our surgical floor, between 3 to 5 as well. Okay. In a maternity ward, in a labor delivery, we'll have, I think they have 2 patients as well, 2 per nurse. So there you go. Now, this is only for yourself. If you have, if you'll be living here with your spouse, then your spouse would be at least earning the minimum wage, right? And if your spouse will be earning minimum wage on a full-time basis, he or she will be getting almost close to 1 million pesos per year working at a minimum wage. Hello, Beverly. So the question is, what if one already has an NCLEX? Okay, so this one would be dependent on the college, right? So they will assess your NCLEX result, and they'll able to tell you at that time accurately if you still need to retake your NCLEX. Okay, so the next slide would be the expenses that you will need, and I would look at the expenses as investment on yourself. And investment wherein you have control over the return of investment. Why? Because you're investing on yourself, on your study, and you'll be the one using the study in practice, right? How will you be translating your study permit, your studies into practice so that you'll be earning income from it, right? So how many hours will you be working as an RN, right? So you have control over that one on how much income will come your way as part of your for your return of investment. So I think this one is better than better than the ongoing entrepreneurship wherein in any business you have to invest money, right? So let's say, and no offense to those people, if entrepreneurship of like, okay, let's I'll be buying a product, package A, package 2, package 3, C, B, and there's a tag price attached to that one that is considered your investment. Now you have to find customers that would be wanting to try your product and hopefully like your product, that they would buy it on a monthly basis, right? So that you'll have income coming in. Now, how big of a margin that income is, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure, but I'm not, I don't think it would be as high as what you'll be getting as an RN, right? So first is the administration fee. So we have an administration fee of 48,000 or 1,400 CAD. Okay, so that's one investment. And with that one though, with as part of this webinar, you have perks, which are free unlimited IELTS review and free IELTS exam. So we'll take care of your anxiety when it comes to taking IELTS. After taking this free unlimited IELTS review, you'll have that confidence you need in order to face the IELTS exam, and you won't be getting the minimum score that you need. You'll even get a higher score, right? And we'll take care, again, I've said we'll take care of the IELTS exam. Next is there is a fee, of course, for the admin school application. So in any college, even in the Philippines, when you submit an admit a application form for admission in college, there is a fee attached to that one. So same thing with this one. And then there is a down payment for the school, right? So this one would be 8,150. This is if you will be entering the 12-month course. If you will be going into the 18-month course, then the down payment would be 11,000. So so what happens is after we submit all of your documents to the school, and then now the school did say, oh yes, we are accepting you as our student with condition, and the condition would be is after you pay the down payment. Now you pay the down payment, and then the school will now give you your acceptance letter. The acceptance letter would indicate that they have accepted you as their student for intake, whatever date that intake is. Then that letter of acceptance, you'll be will be submitting that one to IRCC or Immigration, Refugee Citizenship of Canada, together with your study permit application. Okay. Now, normally before you once you have received your letter of acceptance, there will be a consultant's retainer fee or consultant's fee of 1,000. That one is being waived as part of this webinar. Then you submit your application, and the application would be 150. Then you have your medical exam. I put in here 10,000 pesos. I'm not sure if that's the accurate amount, but could be close. And then you have your biometrics, $85. And once you are once we submit your application for study permit, you'll have then this is usually due. The $500 is usually due 1 month after you come to Canada, but for this webinar, this one's being waived. Okay. So what is the total tuition fee? The total tuition fee really is 16,300 for that 12-month course and 22,100. This includes the down payment that you have made to the school, right? So this is in total 16,300 or 22,000. Okay. And then your show money, or this is your living expense, is 15,000. So with this one, with the living expense and even your tuition fee, when you show this one as a proof that you're able to pay it and have the show money, it doesn't need to be under your name, right? If someone else is sponsoring you for in order to take this course, then it would be that person's financial statement that we will be using. So we have clients here who have families living here in Canada, and they were the one sponsoring our clients. So it would be their financial statements that we'll be using. So total investment would be either 1.1 or 1.3 Philippine peso. But again, your potential income for a year is 2.7. So return of investment would be less than a year. Just to clarify, part of the 12 and 18-month course includes the NCLEX review. Yes. And that is a great question. Again, yes, it is. That is part of the both the 12-month and the 18-month. The only difference between the 12-month and the 18-month course is the English module. So so you won't have the English review module if you are in the 12-month course. I know I have said a lot. I'm pretty sure you guys are overwhelmed, but here is a flow on how things are, timeline kind of thing. All right. So first is your eligibility check. Okay. Eligibility check meaning we need to make sure first that you meet the minimum requirement and that you will be able to get admitted to the school, right? So at this stage, we won't be asking for anything, just your resume. We won't be asking for any money. We want to make sure first that we won't be wasting your time and wasting your money, right? So we want to make sure first that this is the pathway for you, and that you'll be admitted to the school, right? Once you pass once we have determined that you meet the minimum requirements and will be able to get admission to the school, then we would go to the next step, which is the start of the application. That would be the only time you will be spending start spending your investment, which is 48,000 pesos or 1,400 Canadian dollars. Okay. Then once we have started the application, then we work on coordinating your IELTS review and then get your IELTS exam, and then we now submit your application to the school. Now, your IELTS, if you have taken your IELTS, but it has been more than 2 years, please, you we are working with the school to kind of like use that one as well, right? And that to consider that one as valid, so you don't need to retake your IELTS, even though it has been 2 years. So uh, we'll cross the bridge when we get there. If you have an IELTS that is 3 years old, we'll touch base with the school and see if you still need to retake your IELTS. Then after the school application, then you'll get your acceptance letter. Then we submit your application to IRCC or Immigration, Refugee, Citizenship of Canada, and you fly to Canada. Again, if you are wanting to have your spouse and children come with you, then when you fly here, it would be with your spouse and children. Hello, Anna. So is there an affiliated school in Edmonton, Alberta that offers the class? Unfortunately, the course that I'm talking about is only in Vancouver. But once you have completed the course though, you can it doesn't you can be licensed anywhere in Canada except Quebec. So once you have completed the course, you can you can uh, you can indicate that you would like to be licensed in Alberta, right? And that would be a no problem. The school will help you with that one as well. Okay. So this is the fast and easy pathway to Canada as an RN. Why did I say that? Because study permit, 1 year. Okay, that is if you have IELTS of 6.5 and then pass the comprehensive nursing review exam assessment from the school, which I'm pretty sure you will pass that one. So study permit 1 year. After studying for a year, you'll be working as an RN. After a year, you can now apply for your permanent residency, and under the Express Entry Canadian Experience class, let's say that one will take a year to process, but that would take only less than a year, just being on the conservative side. So in 3 years' time, you can be a permanent resident of Canada. At this stage, permanent resident, you can now sponsor your parents to come to Canada. Then later on, apply for your citizenship if you want to. So next intake for this one would be in Feb 2021. So if you take this opportunity, then Feb 2021, by Feb 2022, you finish the course, you'll be starting to work as an RN, probably in the same hospital that I am working at. So that's good. In Feb 2023, you'll be applying for your express entry. And so by February of 2024, you are now a permanent resident of Canada. So 2024, first quarter of 2024 would be your great year, would be a great year for you. So the IELTS, hello, Angie. So the IELTS would be academic, sir, or academic, please. Sorry for calling you sir, if you're not a sir. So what are the next steps? I know, again, I've said a lot. I'm pretty sure your head is spinning right now. It's overwhelming in terms of all the information that I have given you, and that is understandable. So the next step is only if you're interested to be an RN in Canada and would like to avail of the perks that we have mentioned here in this webinar, which is the free unlimited IELTS, free IELTS exam, consultant's fee being waived. If you like those, please submit your resume to assessment at Roman Canadian Immigration.ca. Again, it's assessment Roman Canadian Immigration.ca. And in the subject line, please write or type in SP, that is study permit, SP via nursing live stream. And this is very important because we are receiving tons of emails in our inbox has like hundreds of emails in there, and we do try to, our offices, we do try to triage things. And so yeah, so this one would kind of like help us triage your application. Once again, this one right here, when you submit your resume, you're not paying anything, right? There's no, your only investment here is probably nothing, right? If you do pass the first step, the eligibility check, then we proceed to the next step, which is the registration and start of your application. This would be the only time when you start releasing your investment, which is that 48,000 or 1,400 CAD, and then we will go ahead and start organizing your review, your IELTS review, and then your IELTS exam. Okay. And then also we'll start on preparing all of your paperwork as well. Especially if you're targeting the February intake, so that you'll be a permanent resident by 2024. Okay. And do not wait last minute, because this is not the application is not it's not an overnight thing, right? So we have to make sure that we are submitting the right application, correct information to the immigration officer. And of course, there's also immigration officer would need time to assess the application and all of those things. So it's not an overnight process. So do not wait for last minute. It's better to be early than being rushed on your application, right? So it's better to, let's say, okay, I'll target the next intake after Feb, but I'll start the application now. At least you won't be rushed, right? And I mean, like, if you get your study permit 2 months before the school starts, then you can come to Canada two months before, and you can start working. Uh, and since it's still off school for you, you can go ahead and start working while waiting for that start date. Next question is, the IELTS, may I know the requirement? So it would be for the school. They are, for the 12-month course, you need to score 6.5. All right. If it's the minimum that you need is 6.0, then you will be in their 18-month course. But if you score 6.5 across, you'll have the opportunity to go and get admitted in their accelerated course, which is a 12-month course. Next question is, how much will it be for the additional cost for the dependent? So as part of this webinar as well, we won't be, usually there is a additional consultant's fee for the spouse and children. But as part of this webinar, there won't be any. If you will be bringing your spouse and children with you as part of this application, there won't be any fee for that one. The only fee would be is the so your spouse will be receiving an open work permit, so that would be $155 for the application fee, and then the biometrics for 85. For your children, it would be $100 for the no, 150 for the study permit application. Another question is the IELTS. So IELTS, the score that you need for the 12-month course would be 6.5. For the 12-month course, for the 18-month course, 6.0. Right? So of course you would want to target that 12-month course. So target IELTS score would be 6.5. All right. You're welcome, Anna. So for everyone that joined us in our live stream and Zoom, I would like to say thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure providing information to you guys. If you think this one will be information that your friends and families would need, please share this to them. If you are just finishing watching this one as a recording, thank you as well. I appreciate you attending, watching, and sharing. And I'll be here for another 2 minutes to see if I can answer more questions. All right. So thank you, everyone. Have a good night and stay safe.